It's hard to believe. So with that, let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And good thing you all weren't on when Mac was providing some political commentary. So we'll go ahead and just pledge to the 50-star flag at this point in time. So I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible, liberty, and
justice for all.
And I think, again, as we've been doing it the last couple of months, I think it's always important for us to focus in on the four-way test and the key components of our why we get together and why we meet. So if we could, Mac, if we all could recite the four-way test, that would be fantastic. So number one, is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Number two,
Is it fair to all
concerned?
Number three,
build goodwill and better
friendships. And number four,
Will be beneficial
to
all concerned.
So I think right off the bat, Chuck's story clearly was not within the four-way test, because I don't think it was beneficial for all concerned, especially the mule, but we'll move ahead regardless, right? So anyhow, well, we'll get you updated today on some of the things that are happening in the club. Obviously, COVID continues to put some constraints on the things that we normally like to do as a club, whether it be the activities that we're volunteering for or our socialization and physical get-togethers. But the board is looking and working hard to keep it afloat. And, we met on December 21st. That was our December board meeting. We made the decision at that point to stay virtual for the month of January. Again, not knowing what might be coming with the Christmas holiday surge, just like we saw at Thanksgiving. So we'll continue to monitor that. Hopefully, in February, we can get back to the hybrid calls again. I know there's a number of folks that I've talked to that would prefer to be in person, don't have a lot of interest in participating virtually. But again, we're not going to please everyone at this point in time. So I think we're doing our best to hold everybody together, and hopefully we can get back to the hybrid format. And hopefully by May or June, we all can be vaccinated or have had COVID and back to normal lifestyle again. I think we're all looking forward to that for sure. A couple just quick updates. Rotary Works is a program that's been getting a lot of attention. Our district governor, Beth, in her newsletter, as well as Gary, incorporated that into our club newsletter. It's a program that's underway for zones 3 and 34, which we're part of. And it's really a program offered to Rotarians who are experiencing career transitions. And there's a number of webinars that are being scheduled over the next couple of months. So if that's something that might apply, or if you know someone in the club or others that could benefit from that, just want to make sure that you're aware of it. It's out there. And if you go to the district website, or if you go to Gary's newsletter, there's a link to learn more about that. So I just wanted to highlight that for everyone. Likewise, there was a lot of more internal business that we talked through, at least from my perspective. But one of the key items that we're working on, really Dan Goss is working on, is putting together the officer slate for 2021, 2022. So he may talk a little bit about that when we get to his report. But that's all I have to report at this point. Any specific questions for me from any folks? Okay, I'm going to kick it over to Gary Weston. Gary, can you give us a quick update on the financials? And I know there have been some nice donations that have come in to support the club, and anything you might want to mention about dues.
Sure. We have just shy of 54,000 still in the bank to work with in terms of cash. As Jim said, we did get some nice donations, a very nice donation from FBC Chemical, and also a series of donations in honor of Mike Burkhart. So we took in a total of $3,715 in donations this month. Now, the funds for Mike Burkhart, though, will actually go to the Rich Mar Foundation. So we'll be transferring those once we have a total accounting completed there. We did do we did disbursements of about $5,200 for community service and $700 for international service. And we did pay our deposit of $1,500 for the golf outing for next year to Butler Country Club. So accounts receivables are pretty clean. We really just have I think 2 or 3 individuals that we're working with, and I'm sure we'll get all that cleared up. And I expect to send out the next due statement before the end of this month. And again, it will be just for dues, not for any meals. And it'll be the same amount as the first half, which off the top of my head, I forget what it was.
It was like $211.
$118.
Yeah. Any questions?
That's all I have.
Thanks, Gary. Again, thanks for all your hard work and effort. That's a lot of time involved in that treasurer role, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Chuck Berry, would you like to give us a quick update on who's coming to speak? Maybe Billy Martin's on the list.
Have a tough time getting him or Mickey to speak. Yeah, we have a very interesting speaker next week. Anyone who's stays on top of what's going on internationally knows what a difficult time Lebanon has had of late. They had the huge explosion there in their port about 6 months ago that just devastated the capital area. So we're having a speaker from Beirut. They have a Rotary Club over there that's very active. And we're going to be having a speaker from that club who Mary Lord has graciously put us together with. So thank you, Mary, for that. Following week, we're going to have Michelle Bailey from the E Club, the District 3334 E Club, talk to us a little bit both about their club and also their wheelchair program. And then the 27th, we'll have the board meeting. The 3rd, we'll have our club assembly. And then on the 10th, we weren't scheduling anything initially because of the possibility of doing a night at the races. But since it looks like we're not going to be doing anything there, I have a call or an email into Diane Chido up in Erie to talk about the Rotary Peacemakers program. I'm also in touch with some of the farmers that we had last year and talking about what would be a good time to bring them back as well. Student of the Month is going to be the 17th of February. We have on March 10th, we have Melanie Kapanos from Heifer is going to be with us. And then I'm working on a few others, and always open as always for anyone who has recommendations. Just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to follow up. And then Jim Roddy has said he'd love to do a program, but he wants to do it in person. So somewhere down the road, we'll have Jim in again for what will, I'm sure, be a very entertaining program. And that's what's on the slate for right now.
Great, Chuck. Thanks. Any questions for Chuck? So hopefully those February activities we can be doing in hybrid. So looking forward to that. Okay, Mac, do you have any updates for us?
Well, we did go over the membership list. We are currently in the main club 56 members. The satellite club is showing 15 members. Oh, I don't know, Gary. Joe and I were talking earlier. are the Satellite Club members billed for a Rotary Foundation contribution?
Yes,
Okay, good, because they count in our foundation stuff. So if they weren't paid in, we'd never get the every Rotarian every year. So
yes, we bill them just the same as we do any of the regular members in our club, same way.
so we are a total of 71 members between the two clubs. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mac. That was a nice report. Thank you.
You're lucky you get any reports.
Mr. Danny Goss, what do you have?
Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. And for first time ever, 2020 is truly hindsight. Just remember that as you move forward. Hey, Night at the Races has been canceled, possibly postponed. I finally heard back from Jason Christopher today. As a matter of fact, 12 noon was his email, and I'm sitting here looking at it. He's had all kinds of issues with his kid's school in North Allegheny. In any event, he's had a lot of rescheduling because of COVID. So one of the things he's proposing is applying our deposit to a new date once we come out of the woods here. So that might be a possibility instead of completely canceling. Maybe we just move it to next year in February of 2022. So that's a possibility. It was good to finally hear back because it had become a black hole and I didn't know what was going on there. I've also talked to some of the folks about filling out the board again. There's some others I haven't reached out to, so I don't want to give anything away, but 2 of our longstanding members have agreed to stay in their current positions, so that's been a big help, and I really appreciate that moving forward. As Gary said, we've got the deposit in for June 7th. Monday, June 7th is the golf outing at Butler Country Club. A little bit earlier this year, but we had to work with Butler Country Club's golf schedule in order to fit some things in. So please start thinking about that. I know it's some time off, but it'll be on us before we know it. And hopefully everybody will be vaccinated by then. We'll still probably have to wear masks, according to my 2 sisters who are in the front line still with regards to their nursing duties. So fingers crossed on everybody getting vaccinated. That's all I have for the time being. Anybody have any questions, fire away, please.
Dan, you're all squared away for PETS training next year, right? Virtual, they're going to hold that
Yep.
virtually? Excellent.
Yep. I'll be right here in front of this camera. You'll have to
That's
see my ugly mug.
Jim, we need to have an election. Dan hasn't ever been officially elected as the incoming president, so we need to have elections.
We
Do I have
do?
to campaign?
Or your basement.
So we need to officially vote on that as a club.
Yes, we do.
Do we need to vote
Do
on
we have a quorum?
do we need to
Yeah,
vote
sure.
on other core positions as well, or just the president position?
Well, theoretically, you do. You're supposed to have all the officers are supposed to be elected democratically.
Okay, well, I think at this point, we know we've got president, treasurer, and secretary. So why don't we take a vote on those, folks? Those are pretty critical. I think you need to report those into the district. And I know Dan's still working on a president-elect and filling out the rest of the board. But if we do that, Mac, is that at least a good step forward?
Yeah, and Dan, the positions they'll be clamoring about are foundation and membership. Those are the ones that RI wants to have recorded as soon as they can. But president and secretary are generally the 2 mandatory ones that we should have in right now.
Okay.
Okay, so, would someone like to make a motion that we, we elect Dan Goss as president-elect, Mac Purvis as secretary, and Gary Weston as treasurer for the 21-22 campaign?
I'll make the motion.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye. Oh,
Whoa, wait, it was
I
gonna be
like being
by
rabble
acclamation.
rouser.
Oh,
Okay,
It's
Dan,
delayed.
now Dan, you have a right to appoint him to any job you want now. that he-
There's your president-elect.
I think,
Yeah, he just got graduated.
yeah, Chuck, that's pretty gutsy. And I'll tell you that, I
gotta
can't
get a
believe that.
cabinet post.
I was doing that for Gary or for Mac, actually. You know, it's tough having a Bucknell guy as president.
Yes, yes.
Oh, you
We're
thought the
still-
Spanish Inquisition was bad.
Dan had asked me to serve again, and we're still negotiating the amount of tribute he's going to provide.
Hey, Dan, make sure you publish that you're the next president in your alumni magazine. I'm sure all would like to know that.
I think a scholarship
You know what?
set
I
up in,
think I-
in Mac's name, maybe, something like that.
Sure.
It might be in memory the way he's going.
Okay, well,
Just
moving
kidding.
right along. For those of us that didn't go to Bucknell or Lehigh, Joe, would you like to talk a
Thank you, folks.
little bit about foundation? Congrats, Dan.
Okay, I don't see Brandon on here, so I did want to make an announcement, but I think we'll just wait to see Brandon on here maybe the next time. But
I spoke to Brandon. He's just jammed with work.
okay, well, that's a good thing, I guess. Yeah. So as President Jim announced a couple months ago, we during our club assemblies, we have information about the foundation, the Rotary Foundation, that you should take note of, because as Jim also noted, we have fabulous prizes coming at the end of the year, donated prizes. So, and even though Brandon isn't here, I just wanted to mention something about the history of the Paul Harris Fellow Program. And that particular program was started in 1957, and it recognized Rotarians or other individuals that gave $1,000 or more to the annual fund. Of course, with the present day program, it also recognizes those same individuals who donate 1,000 or more to polio. So it recognizes both. And of course, Brandon has taken advantage of one of our programs, our matching programs, to be a Paul Harris Fellow. And hopefully we can maybe next time present that award to him. But in the meantime, let me give you a report on our giving to the Rotary Foundation. Mac, can I share?
Yep, you should be good to go.
Okay, can you see that chart? That beautiful chart. Everyone see that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the previous month, you see, we had $1,600 donated to our Rotary Foundation from our club. And you see what happened in the meantime. As of December, we made great progress. We're at $4,241, headed toward that $10,000 goal. So, and just so you know, the history of the giving by our club to the foundation, we're pretty much right on target, because it's usually been around the $4,400 mark. In fact, yeah, it's in that $4,000 mark pretty much consistently at this time of the year. And then we just take off for that goal up top. Now, one thing I did want to mention though, that, besides the good news, maybe some not so good news. And on the left side of that chart is the membership participation. We have 13 members that have contributed to the Rotary Foundation at this point. So we really are looking to get that changed and get more participation from all of our membership. So that's the end of my report.
Okay, well, great. Everybody that hasn't given yet, please get your checkbooks out as soon as we're done with the call and get those donations sent in. Thank you.
Hey, what's really ironic is there are 13 people on this call. And there were 13 people. Just a little bit of coincidence there, that's all.
Well, maybe, Dan, this is like church. The 13 people on this call have already donated, but yet we got to hear about it anyhow, so.
Hey, Dan, John Chips joined late, so maybe you can tell him what he was elected to.
John, you might want to have technical issues right now and quickly get off the call.
We're so appreciative that you decided to be president-elect.
I can't wait.
Okay, Tom, I know things have been a little bit challenging from a club service perspective, but you have any report?
I wish I had something for you, but I guess we're getting a little closer. Maybe that some of the restrictions were lifted. We hope that all of them get lifted soon, so that maybe we can do something. The places that I've been looking at, they just flat out can't do more than like 10 or 12 people, and it's a tough deal, for trying to get everyone together. Heck, I guess we have to wait until maybe February or March, but maybe we'll be able to do something then. We'll see what happens.
Well, I know everybody's looking forward to it. I think once things are finally beyond this whole COVID process, I'm hoping that the restaurants and hotels and other hospitality venues are just so overloaded because people are so pent up to want to do those things. So hopefully financially that'll be beneficial to those entities as well. Okay, Tom, thank you. Mary Lord, do you have an update for us?
I don't think so. I don't know. I've kind of been out of the loop. So yeah, nothing. I apologize for missing the board meeting. I totally forgot about it. My sister was visiting for the first time in a few years. So yeah, just sorry. But yeah, no, nothing.
Mary, how are you feeling?
I feel fine. I see my oncologist on Friday. I think I'm fine, but she'll just confirm that for me, I think. So
you've got COVID beyond and chemo beyond, all that's done, right?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
I finished my chemo on December 17th, so it was like the best Christmas present I could have possibly had. I mean, so yeah.
Excellent, excellent. All right, well, that's great news. And don't worry about missing the board meeting.
Jim, just to supplement what Mary said, International sent $200 for that Kosovo chair project and $500 for Hearts for Haiti. That was Jim Lewis was the speaker on that Hearts for Haiti program, and she sent funds to them.
Yeah, the Kosovo Chair Initiative, the district had set a goal of, I think, 50 chairs, and with everybody's support, including the Richmar Club, they blew through that. I think it was over 100 chairs were supported in Kosovo. And that was, I guess, an initiative of the zone and Stephanie Urchik. So anyhow, the district responded pretty positively, so that was great. Okay, John Chips, you still there? Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
In the Sunday paper, there was an interesting article. It was a long article, and it was about Jim Roddy and Cyril Wecht. and their adversarial relationship and how it turned into a friendship. And it talked about them running for the chief executive position after the tripartite government was tossed aside back in the 90s. If you get a chance to go through the archives, Mary Beth, is that the Tribune review?
Post-Gazette.
Post-Gazette. So if you get a chance to look at that Sunday article, it's probably online. It was very interesting.
All right.
I got a card from Ray Johnson. Did anybody have been in contact with Ray? Because the card was saying that he had kind of a rough year and he signed it only his own name. And not Ann. Has anybody heard anything from Ray?
Ray has Parkinson's and he's been in a nursing home up there. So he's separated from Ann.
Oh, okay.
You know, not legally, I just mean living
I know.
separately. Okay. And yeah, he's having some mental issues too, as a result of the Parkinson's.
You hear that, Bob? Yes.
Hey,
thanks. Appreciate it.
And he had a problem with his foot that he couldn't walk around, and they had him in a cast for a long time. He had a lot of medical issues going on, and still does.
Okay.
Yeah,
If we sent mail to his current address, would it be forwarded to that unit? Do we know?
I think it probably would, and if not, Ann could get it to him. But it's all in the
Thank you.
same complex, so I would imagine they would forward it over. Most of those kind of places would.
Yeah, because ours didn't come back. We sent him a Christmas
We sent a
card.
Christmas card. It didn't come back.
But I'm checking
Yeah.
to see if we have a new address for him.
Mary Beth, check it on his address.
Okay.
Was it Green Lane?
Does that sound?
Let me look at what I had.
Okay.
And he actually opted out, removed himself from the Rotary Rich Mar's email address thing. Mac probably noticed that too. But so he's not getting our regular correspondence anymore through the emails.
Letter, I sent it to this address last year, and that was the return address. That was
This year?
Let me just double check. No, this was last year's address. Let me look again. That's the address I mailed it to, and it did not come back.
Any updates on Ed Vogel? How's he doing?
He's progressing. He's doing okay. You know, not up to full strength or anything for sure, but he's home. You know, and gets into work a little bit.
Would you read this address? I can't read it.
It's the same one I had last year. I'm just looking to see if I have a return address
Okay.
envelope. I'm telling I'm still looking.
So
They're trying to close the meeting, Bob.
I'm presuming that that Ray's info that's out on DACDB is still current. So if anybody feels inclined to send him a nice pick-me-up note or something like that, that would be well appreciated. I'll go ahead and have something sent to Ray. I've been trying to do this all year, but I'll have something sent to Ray on behalf of the club as well, just to let him know we're thinking about him.
Does anyone have Ann's phone number?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, in fact, that's really, I used to talk to Ray all the time, and you know, then he had that operation on his foot because of the diabetes. They had to remove part of it and do grafting and everything. So he was totally separated from everybody. And I have been able to get hold of Ann. That's the only, because all of a sudden I can't get a hold of Ray anymore. It's like he doesn't answer his phone. He doesn't answer messages. So
Joe, could you send me her phone number?
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Mary Beth, go ahead and give them the address.
This is the address I used for Ray to mail his Christmas card. And it eventually did get there. I don't know if it's accurate, but it's 808 South Green Lane. That's 2 words, Green Lane. Zelienople 16063.
Thank you.
That's not the address that he has in DAC-DB.
Yeah, he's got Hankey Drive, Celia.
Yes. So Mac, do you want to update that in DAC-DB?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Great. Okay, any questions, comments, any information that someone will, or needs to provide to the rest of the club?
I have been in contact with the lighthouse, and the girl that we had worked with was Teresa Rodriguez. And I called her and asked her what their needs were at this time. And they're subsidized housing, which is people who live there just have to pay utilities. But a lot of the people who are living in their subsidized housing now are unemployed because they're in the service industry. That means there are restaurants, bars, whatever. And so their biggest need right now is donations from the community to offset the utilities that these people can't afford to pay. So I thought that may be something for community service that we could look into. And again, that's Teresa Rodriguez at the Lighthouse.
Okay, John, thank you. That's good. We'll get that discussed with Joe Mancuso, and we'll pick that up at the next board meeting.
Okay, great.
Jim, is there anything else with, and maybe Ken would know this more than you, but with the Penmar Plaza and the funding that we were doing for lunches there, is that still ongoing, or they still need those support funds?
I haven't heard anything more from Tammy. I know she was waiting and for some additional funding to come down through the county and from the state. So my guess is that they've received that. We haven't had a board meeting. We probably should be having one in the next couple of weeks. So if I hear anything, I'll certainly pass it along to the club.
Okay. Any other folks that are on the line, any other specific needs that you're aware of in the community, somewhere that we might not be regular supporters of, but need ongoing support, especially because of the pandemic?
The other thing, I got an appeal from the Mars Area Library that we have support a little bit, and you know, we've kind of pitched in for some major projects with them in the past, but they also they've been impacted by the COVID, so they made a special appeal. So might be worth us seeing how their situation is.
Okay, thanks, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I have nothing else for Club Assembly today. Again, appreciate everybody being on, appreciate the camaraderie and the conversation. And any final parting jokes or comments, Joe or Chuck?
Yes, President Jim. I think Jim Roddy would be proud of this one, I think, okay? And plus, Ken can tell his grandkids this one too. And Dan, I don't know about Alex. He might stick his tongue out at it, but here it goes, okay? So this is about, Jim, did you hear about the duck?
The duck, was it a mallard duck or a Eastern Canadian wood duck?
It was a mallard duck that went into the store. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't. Please tell me.
So the duck goes into the store. He says, "You got any grapes?" The guy says, "No." Next day, the duck comes in the store. He says, "You got any grapes?" He says, "No." The third day, the duck comes in. He says, "You got any grapes?" He says, "No, I don't have any grapes. And the next time you come in here and ask me that, I'm going to nail your ugly web feet to the floor." Next day, the duck walks in. Says, "You got any nails?" Guy says, "No." He says, "You got any grapes?"
Jeez.
Jim would like that one, I think.
Oh my.
Oh, well, that was good.
I can even use that one in a sermon, Joe. We'll have to...
Classic.
Hey, Jim,
Well, Joe,
just,
thanks. I guess that's what you've been doing in your spare time, Joe. So thanks. We all benefited from that.
Jim, one of the things that you brought up was, is there anything that we could do to help within the community? And this really isn't towards the community, but it goes to that Rotary Works program. Is they are setting up a program, and actually Jack Cohen is one of the individuals that's involved with it. And I think it's called an impact fund. And what they're asking for is for individuals as well as districts and possibly clubs to make a donation to it. And individuals that are struggling right now within the district and within the zone can apply for up to $500 to help them during their transition. There's no questions asked of what they're going to use the money for, but there are a list of criteria that they've got to address in order to qualify for it. So it's maybe just something that the club might want to consider. And if you go to that rotary.works website, you don't have to use .org or .com behind it. It's just rotary.works. At the bottom of that page, there's a spot there where you can make a donation.
Great. All right. Well, we've got some good things to be considering here in the next couple of weeks. So thanks. I appreciate that, Ken. Okay. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel better. 45 minutes later, you get bogged down in your work every day, and seeing you all and hearing some of the conversations been great. So I know I got a little bit better perspective on the rest of the day, and I hope you all do as well. So thanks for being on the call. We'll see you soon.
Okay.